Hello and welcome to another In Studio. I'm Tom Wright, and joining me here is a guy in a nice uniform, Mr. Bryan Schafer, your Chief of Police here in Hastings. Bryan, thank you for coming to the studio.
Thanks for having me. It's been a while, almost 3 years.
It has been a while.
Last time we talked. So
very due. We're very due.
Yes, we are.
So, being it's been a while, we do have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, don't know where to start, so I'll let you.
Yeah, we got a lot of things to talk about, including a duck race this guy was in. We're going to say that for last, though. That very, very good race, a heated race down Vermilion River. So we'll save that for the end. But also, we got National Night Out coming up. We'll talk about the 3 years on the job, how it's going so far. Body cameras, it's a new program that started this year at the police department. So we'll talk about that, see how that's going. But we're going to start with a little heavier topic with all the attention that's been on law enforcement lately and in the nationwide media, given the police-involved shootings and with black suspects, and it's sparked many protests. And then we've had the shootings in Dallas, where a suspect took it upon himself to shoot into at police officers in protest. Chief, I think everybody's seen the news headlines and all that's gone on in the last couple of years. You perhaps, rallied the troops, so to speak, and had a talk with them on this or anything like that since all this has gone on?
We've had similar conversations to what I'm having with you right now. Yeah. Don't get hung up in all the rhetoric and all the things that are going on. Sit back, wait till all the facts are in before you're going to make any judgment whatsoever. I think my message to my officers right away was, wait, don't pass judgment, and back each other up and cover each other. We're a small department. We don't have the luxury of doing like some places like Minneapolis, St. Paul, large city, of putting 2 officers in a police car, but we've stepped it up, and we're making sure that officers are paying particular attention and backing one another up in calls. And I think just inherently with the things that are going on, that the officers are stepping back for a second, analyzing the calls and the data that they're getting before they step into a situation to ensure that it's not perhaps set up or luring them into a situation. But some of these other incidents we've seen that things aren't on the radar, and I don't think from what we've seen in the last couple of days as well, you don't know, and you're in a bad position to have to react, and I guess maybe the unfortunate piece is, or it's what we've sworn to do, but as a police officer, we are still the outward most visible sign of government, and so sometimes it's not. I think we've had plenty of conversations that this isn't all about police. Some of the issues we're dealing with in society have to do with jobs and disparity and economics, and I think we all share. We're not shouldering all of that ourselves, but we are the outward representation of government, and so we're the first one they call. We're the first ones they lash out at. So that's again something we signed up for.
Have you or your officers noticed a change in demeanor out there with the public they deal with, whether good or bad? Have they seen a change in demeanor?
I can just speak for myself.
Sure.
And what we have seen in the last probably more so since the Dallas shootings, the outpouring of support. I think people have stepped out and have gone out of their way to acknowledge police officers and the great work they've done. So I would say it's not anything like we're seeing in some places. It's completely the opposite. I think we've had tremendous support. I cannot thank the community and the businesses. We've just had an outpouring of food and cards. We've got hundreds of cards made by kids, by families, thanking us for what we do. And I would argue that, and even talking to some of my officers, that there's probably couldn't be more proud of being a police officer than we are right now. While things were, seemed a little dark, the outpouring of support, they're pushing up, standing tall and realizing that while the community has really come together and shows the support. So I think it's made us better. It made us really realize that we are supported and appreciated.
Good. Well, glad to hear that.
Yes.
That's very good. We'll move on. Let's talk about body cameras now. It's a new program that started just this year, and last I looked into this, there was like a 3-phase program you guys were doing. Tell us where are you at with that, and how that's going, and how soon will we be seeing all your officers with the body cameras?
Yeah, it's going very well. I think we were, again, for a smaller agency, maybe on the outskirts of the metro, getting an opportunity to pilot, as we got city council approval to do a pilot with an introductory policy. I think we're just we're proactive, and I think we're just a little bit ahead of the curve. So right now, I think it was after we had went through all the steps that the city council had requested in getting cameras and getting policy and a group together to analyze some of the equipment. We started in February. We have 8 cameras, and so we started out, assigned those cameras to 8 different officers in the department. They used them in the field for 2 months. Then we assigned them to another 8 officers, and now we just sent them out to the last group in the department. The feedback has been great, and especially in light of the things that are going on. Mm-hmm. Anytime there's new technology introduced, officers are hesitant. They were the same way with squad cameras when they came out. We've had police squad cameras for quite some time, and so we're right now the feedback we're getting from the officers have been positive, and like I said, as in the last couple of weeks, there were a number of officers go, I wish I had my camera. So that was a turning point for us. There's still always a little skepticism, but at the same time, I think there's been a whole change, a shift in attitude about cameras. Some of them have just in that 2-month time have just gotten so used to activating them, and the nice thing as well is, the governor signed new legislation on dealing with the data privacy issue with the cameras. Is something that both police, I think, and community kind of compromised on as to what information should be available to who. So we've spent a lot of time and energy putting a policy together, and it really did revolve, the key issues were data privacy and who should be able to see that. So as it turned out, while we're in a pilot, the legislation got passed, puts us in a real good position to be right spot on when we go to hopefully full implementation. We talked about this morning at our budget meeting, and of course I have every intention at this point in presenting a proposal to council, a positive summary of what we saw. I don't have anything to indicate otherwise at this point. And then we'll be asking for funding in the 2017 budget for full implementation, which is another 15 cameras, so that virtually every officer that is in the patrol division that will be out on the street encountering the citizens will have a body camera.
Nice. And just out of curiosity, how much do those run? How much do they cost per camera?
They're about, I think right now we're about $830 a piece. Yeah. So it's, I don't know, that's actually kind of the, in a lot of places, that's probably the smallest cost. The biggest cost, of course, is data storage. But we've positioned ourselves well where we've got storage space for 3 years, and it's really a nominal cost after that. So, and we're manning it all locally until we see clouds that are hacked and we see all sorts of stuff. So I'm a little bit old-fashioned. I'm not quite ready to let our stuff out into the cloud. So we're manning that locally.
Great. That makes sense. Totally makes sense. 3 years on the job, as we mentioned at the start of this. You've been 3 years on the job. Tell us, how has the Hastings Police Department changed from, how's it changed from today, from when you started to today?
Well, I think some of my goals, first, it takes a year or two to get your feet on the ground to kind of figure all the inner workings. I'm feeling like I got a pretty good handle on that. I think as far as the department goes, We've implemented some performance measures. The officers are tracked on what they do and how much work they do. I've always been 8 hours work for 8 hours pay, and these are taxpayer dollars. So that was probably a big change for the department. Of accountability was big, and we see it. Accountability is everything today. So I think we really shored that up. People know what the expectations are. I think they're working harder. I think we're working smarter. We divided the city up a little bit so that officers have a little bit more specific responsibility as far as their patrol goes. I think that's maybe anecdotally has helped reduce some of the incidents, the things that we may have seen in the past. I've gotten quite an education on budgeting, of course.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit different, but it's been pleasant. It's just been pleasant. I've just been happy to be here, and every day is a positive experience. Love coming to work, and I think what people would notice most that have been here for a while, a number of changing faces. Shortly after I got here, we had roughly, in a short period of time, about 5 retirements. And so we've basically been in hiring processes, and we've had people coming and going the whole 3 years I've been here. So I have yet to experience a department that's full staffed. We've been 3 down, 3 officers short for the last year and a half, and we've just today made a conditional offer to one and a job offer to another. So you'll see more and more new faces in the department. And then the biggest thing was probably our facelift, our branding. We've changed our patch, we changed our image, and then implementing technology and such. So I'm just proud of what we have, and I'm proud of what we represent. And the community, obviously reciprocating, is showing to us that they really appreciate what we do and what the type of department they perceive. So,
going back to the hiring new officers, what are you looking for when you sit across the table from someone? What's the most important thing to you, would you say, at the top of your list when you're looking to hire somebody on the Hastings Police Department?
What we keep talking about and what I look for is fit. Are they going to mesh with the community? And I'm not talking about our demographics or anything like that. I'm just talking about somebody who has the personality and the character. I look for somebody like myself. Sometimes you don't want a bunch of clones, but I like somebody that's going to be able to go out and talk to the community. We always hoping for common sense, and but of course we're looking at education. We're looking for people who can multitask and talk to people, get the job done. There's so many different facets of it. We've sat across the table from a number of applicants who on paper look good, recommendations look good, and again, until you get them out there and put them up against the stresses of the job, some will say, well, Hastings can't be that stressful. Even though you can look in the newspaper every week and there's a short blotter that is not even close to all the things that are going on, and so we are fairly busy, I think, and officers are expected to work independently, think on their feet, without somebody looking over their back. So those are the kinds of employees we try and develop.
I see. Well, as you mentioned, you're busy guys, busy department. What are some of the things that go on in Hastings that keep you the busiest? What are the top issues or things that keep you guys busy?
Well, I think we see a large number of domestics that occur. We do a fair number of medical calls, so we kind of balance the criminal side with helping the community. But most of our job comes down to livability, the issues of people not being able to get along, and as we move into getting close to National Night Out, This is a lot of these things. I sometimes shake my head at some of the things we get called out to do. Maybe a dispute about a fence on a property line, or a bush growing over somebody's fence on a property line.
Well, hey, that bush was getting annoying. In my defense, that was a really annoying bush.
But there are things that have occurred historic that have been sitting there, and it's been a rub for many years. It's not like it just happened yesterday. In some cases, for 20 years things are going on. So, but it's our job to help mediate that. But it's better if the folks can, get out and meet their neighbors and work some of these things out. And when you can't, then we're here to give it our best shot to see if we can help mitigate it. So. This livability, I think, still today. Livability is what upsets most people. It's the simple things. It's not. We don't have rashes. A rash of robberies, and we'll have a few car break-ins and a few burglaries and such. But outside of that, it's like you'd find any other community.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned National Night Out and encouraging people to get out and meet the community, which is a National Night Out is a great opportunity coming up August 2nd, right? I believe.
Yeah, just a week from today.
Week from today on Tuesday night. You going to be there? You'll be out and about, or?
Yes, I will be. We have a lot of participation. We team up with our fire department, sheriff's department, public safety advisory commission, police officers, electeds. I think we're probably around 26 or 27 groups that are officially signed up, and that we will split up in teams of 5 or 6 and go visit these neighborhoods that have requested a special visit by the police department. Target Corporation is our primary sponsor. They always provide bags, and we stuff those bags with goodies and things that are donated to the department specifically for National Night Out.
So it's a good chance for neighbors to meet the other neighbors with the annoying bushes and settle their differences, right, over a casserole or something.
Yeah, there's some great neighborhood parties that we've been to, and
some great food. Yeah, I'll say.
We just continue to ask for. We want more participation. Yeah. That's what we've got some areas of the city that are not represented for National Night Out celebrations, and there's still time. As we're going to be deploying at about 5:30 next Tuesday night, and if you still have requests, you can go to our Facebook page. You can go to the police department website and get a hold of Dave Bauer, who is our school resource officer. He pretty much single-handedly sets this up this year, hand in hand with our Public Safety Advisory Commission.
Great. There you go. And finally, the duck race. We got to talk about this duck race. I'll show some footage of this right here. This guy, first of all, I appreciate the uniform. I really like that uniform with the cap and the hat and everything. Talk us through it. I know it wasn't. You didn't finish first this year. What happened?
I don't know. I strive to be consistent. Everything I do in my daily life. So I was last year. I was last this year. So that doesn't bother me. So somebody's got to pull up the rear, and as I said, I got everybody else's back. That's my job.
That's true.
So it works out perfect. Last year, of course, we had a little bit more current. I think I went in the water 2 or 3 times. This year, I only got bucked off the duck once. But last year I think I was sabotaged, but this year I can't blame it on anybody but myself. So
it's not as easy as it looks, huh?
No, it is not.
That's what our Take a Hike Mike was out there too, as you know, and I don't know what I think he was 4th. Was it 4th or 3rd? I'm not sure. I can't remember. Yeah, 4th. Yeah, it was 4th. So.
Yeah, Christy Bars from our chamber. She beginner's luck, first year out, wins. So we'll. Keep doing the best we can, but it is a great event. It's especially after we get done with the parade. It's 90 degrees out there, and go jump in the water for 15 minutes. Yeah, that's good.
It's a great event the YMCA puts on there.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Well, better luck next year, and I'm sure perhaps you and Mike can join each other, do some training in the off season. To get those ducks going next year.
Yeah, we might have to go to the Y and practice on the pool or something.
There you go. So. There you go. Well, Chief, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate that.
Good to see you. And we won't let it go 3 years next time.
Yes, for sure.
We'll talk again soon.
Okay.
Again, your Chief of Police, Bryan Schafer, thank you for joining us on this In Studio. We'll see you next time.